You'll get the idea. You'll get the fire. See, in my practice, I'm very much into the Chinese medicine principle of the 5-element theory. Because for me,
can you explain the 5-element theory?
It's like the 5 elements. Like you see, if you try and like understand your own health, it's far too complex just to talk about it in a singular type of mode. Right. Whereas when you start to have this aspect of a fire goes into earth goes into metal goes into water goes to wood back to fire. Then you've got a cycle of life, right? Okay, so now we can talk about something in a part of a cycle, because everything's always cycling. In the West, we think it's linear and stationary because that's the way we like it, right?
And it helps us to understand it
because
in a way.
Understand it. Right. But the truth of the matter is, there's always going to be some stuff that is, by its very essence, not knowable. You'll never know it. That's its essence. It's unknowable, you know. Sure. And the East is all comfortable with that. But everything in the living realm is cycling, right? And like you said, the spark of the creative idea is the fire. That's the enlightened phase. And that can happen, like you said, you're just about to go to sleep. But quite often it's a theta wave state. You're in a shower, you're not thinking, right? Boom, it comes from nowhere. But now that creative spark that is born from the enlightenment of the fire has to go into the earth, all right? And now there's different principles that need to nourish that spark. Now, what's the earth about? That's the structure. That's what gives structure to things, right? And so you start to take that idea, and now you've got to start to create it you got to earth it. Then from there, you refine it into the metal. Now you're sharpening that sword. Now you're going further. It's metallic now. It's got magnetism. It's drawing people towards it, so forth. It's starting to be refined. You're working on it hard. You're crafting it. The metal. Then the next phase, it goes into the water phase. That's the power. You know. But anyway, and then for the water into the wood, and it goes through. Now, creative pursuits can be blocked or stifled at any one of those 5 points. It works on a physical level for health because there's different organs in different elements, and then there's controlling cycles within that. You know, it's fascinating. But the point being that it's a technology based on nature. Okay, you know what I mean. So everyone understands if you've got a fire, so that cabinet there is on fire. How do you put it out? Water. Everyone knows you throw water. Okay, so if you've got cardiovascular problems, right? Say you've got your heart, which the heart is with the fire element in this system. So if that's inflamed and hot, then you know you've got to throw water. And then there's the controlling cycle. Fair enough. The kidneys and the adrenals, the water element here, control that. And so all of a sudden they've got a cycle with the herbs and everything, and it makes sense. Sure. The more you study it, the more it just makes sense. Yeah, definitely. But there's mind states. But this is where people are breaking down, because if you're not creative, a part of you starts to die.
Very much so.
Then you start eating shit food. You see how it all pulls in together again. Now, because you're empty inside, because you're not creative, you're still birthing, you're aborting all your creative things. They're still they're like dying inside of you. It's still born. You know, you're not giving birth to these things, because maybe it's because you've got all these ideas, but when it comes to actually now working on it, you know, you want to be a stand-up comic. Okay, you got a joke, but now you got to keep writing that joke out. It's not going to just work. You got to craft it. But you can't show up. You got no structure, stability, dependability, soul of the earth, all this earth stuff. So your great idea doesn't take form, doesn't take seed, doesn't grow. And so this is what's happening with a lot of people, because they don't realize that they are part of a cycle. They are by their very nature a cyclic thing. Yeah, right. And it's a shame. I see it all the time in practice, because first question I always ask anyone when I'm consulting as a naturopath is like, what is it that floats your boat? What is it that you love? What gets you excited?